You are now listening to the Good Morning Show on WBOK 1230 AM.
We're back, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Oliver O.T. Thomas, the early bird. And all I can say is we got the 1, and the 2, and the 3, and the 4. But you got to start with the 1, Ricky B. Rick, man, welcome to the Good Morning Show, man.
Glad to be here, man. Early. Took that drive
man.
And made it down,
yeah,
man.
Early with the early bird, but your drive makes you take that drive.
Yes,
man.
sir, man. I never give up on it. I don't care how tired, how sleepy, whatever, man. You know, we got them babies sleeping for real. Somebody got to stay woke.
Somebody got to stay woke, man. And let's talk about, guys, one of the hottest initiatives on social media right now is this Wake Up NOLA campaign. What I like about this campaign, Dwayne, Jamin, and Byron and Rick, is that it's surreal. You guys are actually making people kind of look at their souls, man, and not just the piece that I was involved with, but the feel that you guys. First of all, where did the initiative come from? And y'all make music, man. Y'all make people feel good. Why this effort to really get into the hearts and the minds and the souls of New Orleans, especially about what's happening on the street?
Well, what happened, Dwayne and I had been talking about working on something, and he was working on this project with Rain Pryor. And
that's Richard Pryor's daughter.
Yes, sir, Richard Pryor's daughter. And all of a sudden, we start having this rash number of murders just start happening and other crimes in the city. And he called me. And he asked me, he said, hey, Rick, man, what can we do, to address the crime or the issues in the community that people need to be aware of? How can we make a difference? He said, look, we can find people that's willing to donate their time, their movie studios, their camera work. All we need is some backing, and I'd like you to be a part of it. And he and I talked. He got the studio. We start reaching out to people, you know what I mean? And I just felt like at that moment I realized everything that I had been saying about everything that goes on in the city about networking, that builds your network. People will do things for you without financial needs.
But Dwayne, that sounds good, man, but you're a successful producer, director, creator. You're working with stars like Rain and others. What makes you stop, what makes you put your money down and stop what you're doing to start this effort?
Well, we all have, as artists or whatever business you're in, we all have a responsibility to give back to the community you grew up in. Mm-hmm. My mom grew up on St. Claude and
Mom from the Lower Nine.
Yeah, she's from the Lower
Right.
Nine. And she's 4'11" Greek woman that don't mind dying,
Right.
But she actually kind of instilled in me when we moved out to Kenner when I was a young age. It's like, I moved you out this. Now you have a responsibility to give back to the community. No matter what status you're in, no matter what you're doing, just give back. She's always instilled that in me, and I've kind of taken that to everything I do in life.
Byron, Legends makes music, man. Y'all entertain people. You also talk about the realities of the community. But the Legends team has really committed to getting into these streets, man, and trying to figure out how we can stop some of this foolishness.
That's right. This morning, man, I'm kind of, and I just want to not get off the subject, but it's part of the drive that keep us going, man. I just want to say condolences and rest in peace to the families of Elton Sterling this morning.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Because I can kind of reflect with that. As a hometown native of my buddy Rick, and we get out in the streets, and peddle these CDs door to door sometimes, and be in front convenience stores, and doing our thing, and to see this guy get shot down like this from the police, and even the store owner himself allowing this gentleman to get out there and earn his living with 3 kids or what have you. The video speaks for itself, and it's just this.
But it really talks to deeper that the violence is not just as indiscriminate in the community amongst people of color. The violence seems to be prevalent no matter on law enforcement, drugs, in the hood,
Right. But it's these things, man, that just keep our drive alive and what we represent. Because senseless killings like this, they exist, and our young kids, man, if we don't bridge that gap and get in there and communicate with them, then we all lost.
504-260-9265. We have Ricky B. We call him the one, man, the brother. We know he's anointed. Byron Bigelow Field, CEO of Legends, Jamin Yates, and Dwayne Bateman, our homeboy in the studio. Jamin, the feel for this piece is kind of surreal. I've seen a lot of stop the violence efforts, but this piece, man, I don't want to say it's kind of spooky, man, but it really makes you kind of feel it.
Yeah, the whole idea of it is to wake up, make people understand that this is an epidemic that affects everyone. Everybody's in the same boat. We all in this together, and it goes way past NOLA. It starts here, but this is a worldwide thing. We wanted to catch on, and we come from a background doing all these, different productions and things like that. And like my man D was saying, it's time to give back a little bit. We're not looking for a dime out of this. Our goal is we save one life, then we're good. If this message just gets to one person and makes them think twice about doing something senseless and going to kill somebody over something that make no sense, then we did our part.
Now, Rick is an entertainer, a lyricist, entertainer extraordinaire. Man, you've perfected your craft. I love the way you want to incorporate the entire community into this piece, also into your work. So, but how do you take time to take off?
I don't take time, man. I stay busy. I pay attention to what's going on, and I've been paying attention to what's been going on for years. I mean, since I was young, a lot of people don't know about the things that I've been through. So I was part of Generation X. Richard Angelico. I remember a murder happened right on Durgeois, right off of Ursulines one year, and it was a black guy, and he said most of these guys would not live to see the age of 25 on the streets, or they're going to be dead, and they labeled us Generation X. Yep. And I made sure everything that I've done in my life and came out of, I made sure that once I got myself together, I wouldn't be part of that count, and I would try and reach and save as many brothers as I can from being a part of that statistic.
Now, Jamin said something that's important. Now, this really, the focus, you're using New Orleans as a seed, but it's really about the rest of the world. This place called New Orleans, this little region here from Baton Rouge down to when you look at it, as small as southern as folk think it is.
Right.
It's a hard knock.
Right. Yeah.
It's a hard knock region.
It's
Rick.
congested, man. It's congested. Like, OT, I got to keep going back to the streets where it always said you could have a job in New Orleans, but at the same time, you got to have a hustle. So you had to have both of them in order to make it. So it's only so much hustling you can do in a congested place. So when you got everybody trying to hustle and do the same thing, that crab in the barrel mentality, it sets in. And if it sets in, then everybody sees somebody trying to hold somebody back, and now it's time to start the process of elimination, and that's where this stuff starts to take place at, man.
Now Dwayne and Byron, I actually see something else in this piece where you guys are really not just challenging the street. You guys are challenging this entire community.
Yes.
This piece is about, hold on a second, this wake up is about not just the folk out there engaged in the violence wake up, but those who are supposed to provide the opportunity, right? The law enforcement who's supposed to protect and to serve, the politicians who's supposed to be in charge of this piece. Y'all want everybody to wake up.
Yeah, we're all part of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like, okay, the problem is systemic. It's embedded. We have to change the mindset. It's like, before you go out there and do your thing, it's like, you know what? Sometimes you got to pinch yourself. Wake up. You know what?
Right.
Before. Back when I was growing up, back when Ricky B was growing up, you get in a fight, you did it with the hands, but you lived, and you walked away. Now these kids don't care.
Right.
It's inbred. It's a culture that we have to change. It does.
Right, and you know, to piggyback off of that, man, your Wake Up NOLA campaign, you mentioned challenge. We also challenge in different regions outside of New Orleans to join along with the campaign. Like, we're actually recruiting different, like Texas. Next is going to be Wake Up Texas and Wake Up Atlanta. So, you know, I mean, it's not just a local challenging issues that we have. This is widespread, but what better place to kick this off but in a terrible city? Well, I ain't going to say terrible city, but
the tale of two cities.
Yeah, crime-ridden, that's right.
Jamin, are we numb? Are we numb to the violence and the despair that happens in too many American cities and too many communities today?
I think the people have just gotten so used to it and so like consumed in their own lives. Sadly that they can just easily kind of just turn their cheek and kind of go on about their business, and it affects them, but it doesn't really. I don't think it hits home enough. Unless it's something personal that happens. And I think that the whole message is, look, we all live here. We all got to deal with this. Everybody got their families and everybody's affected by it. So don't wait until it happens to you. Try to prevent it from happening to you by spreading the message. Make sure everybody knows that we can't go on this way. I mean, if we're going to wake up, we got to wake up. I mean, the violence has to end.
Rick B, you talked about it, man. It was easy for you to go back to remember what happened on Durban and Ursuline, like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Too often in this town, it is yesterday. This is not new, but we keep treating it like it's new.
And it's like that, man, until it happens, as James said, until it hits home. We shouldn't have to wait until it hit home to realize that something needs to be done. We need to do that before that takes place. It's sad to say, man, but a lot of people watch the news just to see who got killed and if they know them or not. That's crazy.
Say that again, man. Folk, the people they read the front page of the Metro
to see who got shot,
and they watch the news
and if
just
they know
to see.
Or not.
That's absolutely correct.
Look at the obituaries.
Right. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Because sometimes things get played out. And when things get played out, people stop talking about it. So what are you going to do when the news and the newspaper stop looking for those murder and crime stories and stop reporting it, and you're at home at night trying to figure out where your kid is at and what's going on? I hadn't seen anything on the news. That's because everybody at some point is going to get tired of talking about the same old thing. So people need to realize that your children, you want people to treat your kids just as you would treat your own kids.
Real talk, guys. That's good. And Big Bigelow, what do you say to the people? Now, you guys have made your money, you made your fame in rap, street culture, entertainment. What do you say to that person out there? And 504-260-9265, guys, call in. Let's talk to this great team about Wake Up NOLA, this Wake Up NOLA campaign. What do you say to those people? Say, hey, hold on, man. Y'all industry. It's part of this.
Right.
What do you say to them?
Well, I mean, if anybody could reflect with the street, that's where we come from. Me and Rick is a mix between the 7th Ward with the St. Bernard Project, and I'm 5th Ward. I come up through, with Weave and what we ran through in the 6th Ward and all that, and the Lafitte Project, housing projects and different things. So, I mean, and so we saw a lot.
Who else can fix it but those who talk about, but those who know it?
You gotta be able to. I mean, you can't. One thing I learned about these youngsters, and I had a kind of run in with my son. With before we really got delved into the music, and before we were successful on a bunch of platforms. He was strengthful with telling me, how are you going to tell me something when you're not successful? He did tell it to me a different way, though. He was, he played football. And his mindset was, man, I tell those guys, man, I don't want to listen to you, man, because you're not successful. So with them kids, really, they're looking at us as, man, you can't tell me nothing. How you going to tell me something? And I feel the same way. If you ain't fell off no bike riding it, how you going to teach me how to ride a bike? You know.
Rick, we have, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but
go ahead, man. Put me on the spot.
You know, we have a lot of famous New Orleans rappers. You know, they keep it gutter in their music. They talk about that know you.
Yep.
You know, they talk about that yo.
Yep.
But we don't see them involved in campaigns like this. What is the responsibility? And I think what Biggs just said is absolutely important. You really can't preach it and teach it unless you really know it. So what? And it's not just those ones from New Orleans. We got people perpetrating out there.
Right.
Whose responsibility?
Right.
They ought to be doing the same thing y'all doing.
Listen, man, the hustle ain't a hustle no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like a scuffle ain't a scuffle no more.
Yep.
A lot of these people, a lot of these artists, they telling stories that they read about, that they researched, or that they really know about.
That they read on the front page.
But they really didn't do it, you know. And what happens is it's a persona, man. A lot of these guys, if you understand music and entertainment, everybody has a pseudonym. I'm Ricky Bickham. My pseudonym is Ricky B.
Right.
So in front of cameras,
right,
I gotta be Ricky B. So if I'm a thug, I gotta be a thug at all times.
That's right.
But I'm soft when I go home.
Keep it real. Keep keeping it real.
Yeah, you can't. You gotta keep that persona because in front of the cameras you gonna break, and what you can't be a thug no more. Man, I'm past that. I survived 1998, the worst year in the city of crime in New Orleans. I survived that. I don't need to talk about it. I don't need to brag about it. I'm living. That's my proof right there. And a lot of these guys would never understand that because they never had to go through what we went through as young men during that period. It was real life.
Dwayne Bateman, those people who chronicle history from the ages say that it's the artists, it's the makers of the music, it's the writers, it's the poets, it's the ones who give us our conscience. The same responsibility in entertainment and in the rap industry.
Yeah.
They need to understand that.
Yeah, no, they need to understand. We have, like I said, we all have a responsibility. Whatever we do in life, if you're a small business owner, it all affects the community. So, you know, it's like when I got with Jamin and Ricky and Bigelow, it's like, you know, we have to kind of overall change the mindset. You know, and this is not just a 3-month campaign. This is not just a year campaign. We're going to be doing this all year round just to make the social conscious say, okay, you know, if we keep preaching this message, something's got to change. It has to.
And Jamie, you talked about that earlier about planting seeds. We know we can't change this overnight.
Right.
But we know we got to begin to chip at, the mayor calls it a culture of violence. Some other folks say it's socioeconomic conditions, it's poverty. Whatever we call it, it's not going to change overnight.
It won't, you know, sadly. So, you know, we're going to keep going strong. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep trying to, you know, not everybody's going to hear the message when we present it to them. It might take them a month or two to even catch on, even hear anything about this. So we're going to keep it going, you know, as long as we can get to as many years as we can, you know. So every week or so, you know, I'm posting another video. You know, you did a fantastic job with your presentation on it, and it's been getting a lot of people's minds, you know. The last one we just posted was really kind of hit on some notes that it's like, wow, when you think about it. A gentleman from Haiti, right. When Yvette, he talked about the violence here, comparing it to his hometown in Haiti, and everybody in the world, they ain't got to go to Haiti to know that is a very violent place. Right. You know, you see it on the news every time you hear about Haiti. It's usually in the negative. You know, unfortunately, and for a gentleman to compare it, New Orleans, to what he's used to back there, it's got to stop, man. You know, it's something got to change.
Bigelow, this little town, a couple of weeks ago, we had 42 carjackings and armed robberies, man, in the weekend.
Yeah,
I mean, that's crazy. Do people here get it? If y'all could put together your team, your production team, your artists, if y'all could get the elected officials and business people in the room, what would you tell them?
Well,
do you think they get it?
No, they don't get it. But you know, and let me say this, I guess, because I guess what we're doing will kind of kind of reflect on what they should do. Me and Rick, we got together and we have a nonprofit, you know, and we bring kids. We get
Y'all
together.
do your school supply, back to school piece every year.
Not only that, but we you know, kids that want to, you know, parents that incarcerated or what have you, and they can't get to the children, not financially stable enough to get clothes or a ride to get up there. We bridge that gap and bring them there, you know. Right. So, you know, sometimes you got to stop talking it, and you gotta get out there and deal with people hand in hand and walk with it.
Now, Rick, you're famous for telling our leaders, whether it's police, the judge, the mayor, the council people, that if it's happening in the streets, you can't be in the suites.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
You got what's missing? You know, we hear the tough on crime speeches.
I got it.
We hear the more police officers.
I got it.
What's missing?
I got it. What's missing is people like me, you, or more people like us, people that's from that environment, people that understands that life. Because I guarantee you, if you sit me in front of a CEO that's going to talk about big money business, something I can't identify with, right, I'm going to sit there and listen simply because I'm there. Right. But once I leave, I'm back to my old ways. But if you put somebody in front of me that's going to give me some reality, something that I can relate to, because I can say, well, this knows what he's talking about. Right. That's what makes the difference. You can't go in front of the camera to save face for the city, man. That's not going to work.
So, Dwayne, why hasn't New Orleans, you know, we talked about the 90s, man. You know, when people thought New Orleans was safe, it was 6 times more violent than most cities its size. Yeah. Even when we thought it was the good old days, there was too many stabbings.
Oh, right. Trust. I lived in the third ward.
Too many shootings. So what needs to happen here differently, and how are you guys going to continue to use the Wake Up NOLA campaign to get into the hearts and minds of people?
I think it's almost like income inequality. You have these poor neighborhoods, and I was poor. Look, I was paying $200 in rent. I lived in the third ward right across the street from Jesuit. Right. And, you know, you have this, it's like they have no hope. Mm-hmm. So you have to bridge the gap as far as income inequality. Mm-hmm. It's you know, they don't feel like they have another outlet. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, I'm not going to be successful unless you're a rapper or a director or an entertainer or you're playing ball. You know, they don't feel like they can actually succeed without doing or living a life. Like Ricky said, you know.
I want to touch on that, what you're talking about, the 90s versus today. You know, the big difference, I believe, is the technology we have today, the social media. You know, everybody has got a cell phone out, taking a video, and a lot of times, sadly, you'll see stuff that you won't see on the news that the news won't even portray, because they're selective about what they want you to see. Right. But social media is taking it that much further, and everybody's seeing more and more things that you wouldn't have seen in the 90s. So if social media is that powerful to show the violence, the bad, then it's just as powerful to show we can change. What can we do to clean up this mess?
Wow,
you know?
Powerful point. 504-260-9265, man. We're having a very deep, real powerful discussion with Dwayne Bateman, co-creator and director of Wake Up NOLA campaign. Mr. Jamin Yates, member of the Admit 2 Productions and co-creator and producer of the Wake Up NOLA campaign. With Ricky Bickham, the one. Co-creator, rapper extraordinaire, and then, man, just a brother from around the way, made good in this whole entertainment industry. Byron Bigelow-Ville, CEO of Legends Entertainment. Guys, y'all want to weigh in on this discussion, call and ask some questions. I want to get back to, and I have a question that we've talked about. It seems like the mega entertainers shy away from keeping it real like this. You know, you know, and it's real. You know, it seems like those who top in the charts, who blinging with their millions, in many cases you don't see them in the gutter. You know, what is it going to take to get those, you know, whose responsibility is to come back? How do we get them back, Rick?
For the music industry to stop exploiting them. That's what it's going to take. You know, money is the root to all evil, man, and we still hustle like it's legal. Right. You know, if these top-notch artists are getting millions of dollars, what do you think those CEOs behind that desk are getting? if they can't capitalize off what we talk about, of what we do to damage our own
they
culture,
want crime in it.
then they're not going to make any money. They're not going to make.
Wait, hold on a second now. That's a powerful indictment there, young man. You're saying that what the industry has done to damage its own.
That's right.
You stand by that.
I stand by that.
Right.
I stand by that. Come on, man. You look at artists. People don't know. Record labels take out insurance policies on artists. Why?
That's right.
Why? If you just want me for entertainment purposes, why do you have to take an insurance policy out on me? Because if I get killed, guess what?
Protect
you
the
still
investment.
straight.
Yeah.
Your investment is protected.
More money.
That's what
more
a lot
money.
of people don't know, man. It's big business, man. It goes far beyond spitting a lyric, spitting a social conscious lyric or a gangster lyric. It goes beyond talent, beyond all of that, man.
Right.
A lot of these artists that people listen to, I can't say don't listen to them, but hey, if you listen to it for entertainment, listen to it. But if you listening to it to gain that lifestyle or to be a part of that lifestyle, it's not going to happen unless you're willing to sacrifice you and everything you stand for.
We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the next phases for the Wake Up NOLA campaign, because y'all done woke us up this morning. Y'all want to chime in and weigh in. 504-260-9265. Very rarely do you have an opportunity to talk to people who are deep into this industry, who understand and about I think moving our conscience and moving our soul so that we can be a less violent, not only a less violent New Orleans, but a less violent world. We'll continue this conversation with the one in crew after the break.
WBOK 1230 AM, the People's Station. You are now listening to the Good Morning Show on WBOK 1230 AM.
We're back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Oliver, OT time before that Ro Brown. Ro Brown, let me tell you, Early Bird gonna stow on you, man. You keep on messing with OT in his chair in his studio. Man, but nobody does it better than Ro, Janella, and Jamal Greenberry, news and sports, man. He's a blessing. Ro Brown's a walking Auburn. Now, you can ask Ro Brown who won the pitch to the line contest with the quarters in 1962. He'll tell you, little Jimmy Jackson did. He pitched the quarter that landed right on 0.centimeter on the line in the lower nine. You ask him who walked across the Tupelo Canal the quickest in 1964. And
He got all them
in 1964 with Earl on it. When Earl walked across the pipe in the Tupelo Canal, he'll tell you with little Harry Jackson. And Earl wasn't oil, Earl was Earl. Trying to stop him from walking across the pipe. That's how we love Earl. We're going to go to the lines right now, man. We got a great team, man, leading a great initiative, Wake Up NOLA campaign for far too long. New Orleans has been embroiled and embedded in violence, and the team of Dwayne Bateman, Jamin Yates, Ricky B, the one, and Byron Bigelowville, man, are saying, hey, look, there needs to be a social media campaign to go at the souls and the hearts of folk, that if we begin to change how we think and feel about violence in New Orleans can change. We're going to go to the lines right now. Big George, you're on with our the Wake Up NOLA campaign team. You're on.
Good morning, brother.
Thank you for holding, too, George.
Thank you. And I appreciate them brothers talking about some things that, these kids need to hear over and over. Like they're being sold out. And anybody in the industry is not only selling their own soul.
Good point.
They're selling the souls of their listeners.
Right.
Wow, good. Great point, Joe. Rick, you touched on that, man. And, you guys have tried to challenge your own industry that's not popular. Yeah. It can cost you. Yep. But why have you all taken that approach? And I think George is right. You're actually speaking, the real talk is also you got to challenge your own industry, too.
I was offered a contract one time, man. And I know some things that were talked about I wasn't comfortable with.
Right.
Some things that I was told that I would have to do.
Mm-hmm. I
didn't like it. And I got to shout out Miss Rosalind Norsatelli. She told me, she said, Ricky, that gangster music, that street music, leave that to them youngsters.
Mm-hmm.
Use your platform to make a difference. And ever since that day, that's what I didn't regret not signing that contract. I knew that I made the right decision.
So George, what is it about the industry now that you feel where so many even those who have voice. And last week we talked about Jesse Williams and what he did at the BET Awards and challenging industry reports. Now he's under fire. So what is it, George, you think about a lot of these mega entertainers who refuse to speak up?
I think they're cowards.
Mm-hmm.
And because they bow down to that, they bow down to this dollar. And I see them out there be, faking like they're doing a lot of charitable good and charitable events, but they're leaving the masses of these young men and women left in ignorance. And got them aspiring to things that is so far beyond the potential reach, not the total potential, but in the day-to-day life, in the reality that they live in, just to be able to maintain yourself in a good, decent standard of life. And because they promulgate this self-destruction and all of this music, these kids are hearing it, and it's being buried so deep into their psyche, it seems like you can't reach them. So when brothers like this speak out, it's important because it's the voice that needs to be heard.
Thank you, George. We appreciate you. But Dwayne, Big, Jamin, now, y'all industry CEOs, producers, and directors, what y'all want y'all artists speaking out, man? Y'all y'all ain't supposed to be allowing your artists to challenge y'all industry. That's a little different, as my auntie would say.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, it's...
As a producer, why you care whether folk wake up or not?
Because I want them to watch my shows, but,
right.
But for me, it's all about, sometimes we have to challenge the status quo. Sometimes you have to be an activist. You have to always challenge people out there. And me and Jamin, like I said, we've been in business since 2009, and our slogan is helping rebuild NOLA one production at a time.
Right.
So it starts with maybe we don't have enough money to kind of give back, but we can give our time.
Right.
And time is money.
Right.
So I just feel like for me, and my mama kind of taught me this at a young age, just, son, I don't care how successful you are, always give back.
Y'all spared no expense with this campaign, though. It's professional. It's
we do our best.
It's slick. It's good. Y'all put a lot into it, Jamin.
Yeah, and I think that's the point of that is to, people get really quickly bored with things. They're so used to things a certain way. So we want it to be presentable in a way that makes everyone just gravitate to it. You can get drawn in by how good it looks, but the message is what the whole point of the matter is. And as a matter of fact, people listening at home, this goes out to everybody. Everybody is responsible for everything that's going on in our city and around the world. Whether, your hands on the trigger or not, you have a responsibility to stop that trigger being pulled. But you got a voice to get in touch with some young one that's making the wrong kind of decisions. Get them in line with reality. I think everybody's lost touch on reality. And
good point.
You can follow what we're doing and maybe show the young ones. Our website, admit2productions.com, or follow us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/admit2productions. You can follow our videos. We can be posting with all our amazing artists that come from these backgrounds that know, that everyone is responsible, and everybody's given a good voice, and you can see how it affects everyone. And so follow us for those videos, and reach out to us if you have a story that you want to tell. If you've been personally affected by, the senseless violence,
right.
We'll love to make a video.
Too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We'll make a video of you, and so everybody is in on this. It's not just music producers and
right.
video producers.
This is everyday people.
Yeah,
Yes.
Women and
Everyday
children.
stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's something that everybody just needs to.
But that's the
be
beauty
around,
of this Wake Up NOLA campaign. It's not just Ricky B and Legends Entertainment. It's not just OT. You guys want to capture everybody's pain,
Yes.
Dwayne.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, this happens to everyday people.
Right.
It's not just artists and
Right.
this. We have the platform to give them their voice,
Right.
but we want to hear their voice.
Wow.
We want to hear the victims' families.
Well,
Yeah.
Ms. Cheryl talked to our producer. She didn't want to hold on to talk, but she said she's being moved by the conversation, especially Rick, the responsibility, level of responsibility that you've taken as an artist to challenge the industry. That does not happen too often today.
Right. It doesn't, man. You know, I got a daughter, man.
Right.
I want her with a husband. I want her with somebody that's gonna treat her right, that's gonna take care of her, man.
Right.
You know, and
so this Rick B is you're different from the 25 and 20 and 29. This is and you're supposed to be.
He's supposed to be, man. Muhammad Ali said a man that sees the world at 50 the same way he sees it at 20 wasted 30 years of his life. You know what I mean?
It's true. Right?
So
Real talk.
I grew up, man. I had to grow up,
Right,
man.
right.
If I would have stayed on the path, man, come on, I was feeding into Richard Angelico, ideas of what young black brothers gonna be. So,
Right.
I didn't want that, man.
Right. Wow. We're going to go back to the lines right now. Brother Eric Peace, you're on with the Wake Up NOLA campaign team.
God bless you all, brothers, and congratulations on the work that you're doing. As when you walk around nowadays, it's like you see a lot more consciousness in the black community in terms of black pride.
Mm-hmm.
We see people using the red, black, and green flag, the black fist, black power symbol, dashikis, African shirts. Is this something that you're trying to instill in your artists, too, in terms of the importance of black pride, black respect?
No. It's not just about that. It's about black responsibility. Making sure that anything you say, you're going to bring a social awareness of what's happening in your community, in your surroundings. I mean, I'll give you the perfect example of how Legends Entertainment was shot down. We tried to go around to the the school systems, once they changed, I don't know what they are now, but we tried to go around to them and offer students opportunities to write an essay on what it means to them to be involved in the music industry and what would they do different from artists today. And whoever wrote the best essay, we were going to record their album for free. Studio time, distribution, everything. And we got shut down. So I guess if I would have said something different, we want them to talk about certain things, who knows, man, it probably would have been allowed, man. People have motives behind the stuff that they do, and it's all for own benefit.
Eric, I don't know if you've seen the Wake Up NOLA piece, but it's real slick. So it's not as Afrocentric as it is heartfelt and tugging at folks' conscience, but it's hard hitting. It gets to that point. And where can Eric? Is there a website or a place he can go to take a look at the Wake Up NOLA campaign?
Yeah, it's www.admit2productions.com, or you can follow us on Facebook /admit2productions, and we'll be releasing more and more videos as we produce them. We have a couple in the pipeline right now that we're going to be, every week or so we're going to be, putting more out. We want to just kind of pace them, so people, that are coming in, they don't get, bored with it or watch them all and forget about it. We want to keep reminding that, this ain't going away.
And Eric, if you know anybody with any stories that need to be heard, the good thing about this team is that they're willing to tape in and listen.
That's right,
okay,
definitely.
Thank you, Biggie. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. For everybody, we have a lot of people who are texting and, they're not calling. You can text to our hotline at WBOK text line 318-599-9265. Let us know how you feel. Biggs, this level of responsibility, man, is you like Rick B said. He said, it's a little different. 25, 35, 40. Now, being a man, there's a different way to look at this thing now.
Right. I mean, we actually not those young bucks no more.
Y'all young men to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, but
things we used to do all night, it take us all night to do.
If it was all night, it was all right.
Right,
but
right.
I mean, we strength for the bodies and with the bringing down. I mean,
right.
But no, one thing, man, wisdom comes with age.
Right.
So, you can't expect the youngsters to have the same mentality that we have. That's why, instead of shunning the youngsters, young ones not gonna listen to you, man, if you don't find their area to deal with.
You gotta meet them where they
are. Sometimes you gotta get there on the PS4 with them,
right,
and play the game while you're running it with them.
Right.
I mean, we even got campaign with songs, man, where we try to collab with younger audiences.
And that brings, see that right there? What B just said, man, that's why fatherhood is so important, man. Right. Fatherhood is so important because your sons, they want to mimic their dads. And if they see you out there thugging, doing what you're doing, right, then
baby daddy ain't good enough no more.
Ain't good enough, man. Got to be some fathers. We got to be real men, real fathers, man. We got to step our game.
Well, many of our listeners have called and texted that they need you. We can slow down and repeat the website again for folk who are listening. Slow down and repeat the website where folk can go to support and get involved with the Wake Up NOLA campaign.
Yeah, so it's www.admit numeral 2 productions. So ADMIT 2 PRODUCTIONS admit2productions.com. Same thing goes for Facebook.
Biggs and Rick, if y'all could talk to many of the other prominent artists and entertainers in New Orleans, what would you guys ask them to do? Our babies are dying. 9-year-old, 2-year-old, the last several years. People in this area, in this region, are suffering every day. If you could reach out to the other artists and producers to collab on an effort like this that is sorely needed, what would you tell them?
Let me put in on that one. Okay. I would ask them. You know what I would ask them to do? I would ask all. They got influence themselves, right. But let's start off with all of the major labels that came out of New Orleans, like Cash Money, No Limit. All of these people, even Big Boy. Rest in peace, absolutely. My buddy Chuck or whatever. Yeah. But everybody that had something to do with this New Orleans growth. To come back in, let's give a big giant concert, and let all of the proceeds go towards starting a community center.
Absolutely, all of it.
Yeah, all of it. Let's take all of it and put it in one big kitty, and establish a foundation, a corporation, and let that corporation be overseen by a team of lawyers, a team of attorneys of everybody, and let's build a community center in each neighborhood. We can do this 1 year, and in 10 years, man, look at all of the community centers we have, because that's our problem. I shout out to the guy over at the community center by the St. Bernard Project. What is it, Rick?
Yeah. New Orleans, I know what you're talking about, the gym. We call it the gym.
Right. By St. Bernard. Yeah.
Right, man, because I went in there and the gentleman.
Ernest and Carl and all of them over there. Man. But Bo was ran the center for years.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, that's what we need. I seen the guys in there. My son done went over there.
That's what the Stallions played out there. Stallions and Willie Hall played.
My son's is in Gentilly, man. Right. We're around almost to the lake. And that's where they have to go to play ball, right? So, and when I went there to see them, man, it was inspiration. If we have just, we played Nord ball, and children not interested in Nord ball no more. They want to be inside on the game all day long. There's no physical play. The body's diminishing, all kinds.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's correct. A big deal, man.
Dwayne Bateman, what do you say to those other producers out there? We got some top producers here. Folk make a lot of money producing this and producing that. What do you say to them in terms of their social responsibility to start giving back? This violence is not stopping in our town.
No, and it affects everybody's lives. No matter if, I got clients that come from Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and they want to go to the Quarter, they want to go to Bourbon Street. I'm like, I really think if you just give your time and just care truly, and by the way, I have to send a shout out to my guy Steve Hammond with Amp Studio that donated his studio time to us. He wasn't able to be here; he was working a job. But I just feel like this: as a producer, we do this because we love it. We're passionate about it. We're all activists. We're all social consciousness, but. Just give a little bit of your time. It doesn't take any. It's not hard work to do what we do. Now, we put the hard work in, but if you love what you do and wake up every day, why not just kind of tell, look, we have a voice, just like you have a voice. And
the one.
What up?
Eric said something that I think is true. Even with all of our challenges out there, I see a level of consciousness that if it's that in many cases we're being forced into. that some people may be doing it voluntarily. But the Jesse Williams speech where he challenged American entertainment industry.
Yeah, he did.
You guys' efforts here with the legends and Jamin and Dwayne and your voice, are we moving in a direction now where people have just had enough and folk are saying, you know what, the politicians can't fix it, the disaster capitalists can't fix it, we got to do it?
Yep. And I swear, it might hurt some people. Why this is just my opinion, why I feel like we're moving.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I feel like we're moving is because you got other races trying to stop what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what the brother Jesse Williams said.
Mm-hmm.
He directly challenged every artist with money in that building and said,
yes,
we so busy worrying about brands on our back, and we don't realize at one time we had brands on our back.
Preach.
Now, one black person attacked this guy. It was everybody. They boycotting Grey's Anatomy and everything now because they don't want that truth to come out, and that brother hit him where it hurt at. And that's what it's going to take. Of course we're moving. I see it. A lot of people see it. You can't always say because one thing happened and we still at a standstill. No, we just got to keep progression. It's going to take time, but we're going to get there.
Bigelow, what do you say to the people?
Well,
what do you say? What do you say to them?
Man, you know, I know this may offend some people too, but it seems like every time we stick together, man, and start this big, strong, you know, stand for Black Lives Matter, it seems like they hit us with another slave movement.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, you know, to remind us of the bondage, you know, and I just don't get it. You know, I actually bump heads at home on the home front.
Right.
With now in the beginning, I wanted my kids to learn about roots, you know, and everything of what's going on, but now it's a media purpose. Huh?
Which is tired of seeing shackles on my feet.
Let me say something right quick. Let me say something right quick, man, because every time I see...
We know that piece already.
Every time I see TV, you know, I see what Beyonce did. I see a lot of people hold their fist up. And I don't understand for the life of me why some people use that as a racial, you know, embracement.
Right.
To me, when you hold that fist together, I don't think it's nothing racial to it.
No.
I think it's mean we all sticking together and ain't nothing breaking through it.
Right.
And that's the problem that I have, because what that does is that sets up the next conversation. It sets up the next conversation. If we can't do this to show solidarity and togetherness, what the hell can we do, man?
But Big, I got to ask you one more question, man.
Sure.
You guy from Third Ward, St. Bernard, from the hood, the streets. You understand that life. There's a whole nother argument out there that we're wasting our time. That is hopeless. We've lost a generation. What do you say to those people?
Well, I could step and pick it back on you. I don't know the guy's name that was on BT. If you ain't for us, get out the way. If you ain't speaking,
Jesse Williams, right. If
you're not speaking
real
towards
talk.
this and you're not walking with us, man, get out the way, man.
Right.
Because I mean, we really got purpose on our backs. You know what I mean?
Jamin, they are producers. They are writers and directors who are not using their energy to promote this type of positive message. What brought you, first of all, not only to the entertainment, but what brings you to this point now where you say, hey, hold on a second. Nah, I got to be part of flipping this message and being positive, too. Why is that important?
It's just been getting out of hand. You know, everybody just kind of goes on about their own business and you know, thinks that they can't make a change or have an impact on this situation. But the fact of the matter is, like I said earlier, you know, nothing will change or get better unless we all come together and contribute to it. You know, we all in it together. It's about everybody's life. You know, no matter what background you come from, no matter what color, it's everybody matters, you know. So until we realize that we are one people, it ain't going to change.
Wow, until we realize that we're one people, ain't going to change, man. The Wake Up NOLA campaign, Dwayne, what's the next step next phase to the Wake Up NOLA campaign, and how can people get involved?
Me and Ricky's kind of been talking. Well, what we're going to do is, and I'll let Ricky elaborate on this because he's kind of
absolutely no. The one going to close us out now.
Yeah. The one will close it out.
You setting up.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to, bring social consciousness, but we want to do a Kickstarter campaign to give back to these families that have been murdered and bury their people, bury their kids and all, which is sad because we should have raised money for this. Right. It should be an automatic thing, but we're going to keep doing this all year round. It's going to be an ongoing thing until it stops or until it's,
Right.
But yeah,
the one we got a minute left. Biggs, Jamin, Dwayne, thank y'all. The one, you got the last word, man.
All right, man. As Dwayne stated, as OT asked, what's the next step? The next step, I'm going to reach out to as many people as I know, famous, non-famous, and we're going to start shooting the next series of campaigns. So everybody that wants to be involved, all y'all got to do is hit me on Facebook and let me know, hey, I'm in and I got you. And then we're bringing in actual families of victims. Because this year, July the 15th, we're giving the second annual School Days benefit dance. And it's for all that have been to a public school in the city of New Orleans. You know you've been there.
Absolutely.
You know you've been there.
Absolutely.
So what this dance does, we raise money for the families of victims in crimes. Last year, everybody came together, and for all those that attended, I want you guys to know that you help contribute to grief counseling for these families. You help groom their loved ones.
And what's the date and time and place?
It's July 15th, and it's at the Christopher Room, right off of Vicksburg, off Harrison and Canal, and it's starting at 7 p.m. and we're ending it early at 11, so you can still come party with a purpose, and then you can go hit all the clubs you want. But just think about the money that you're spending to get in. You're helping somebody that's in need.
And what's the phone number, or website, or what's the Facebook page?
We're just posting it on Facebook, on various Facebook pages. But if you need to call and purchase tickets, you can contact Ms. Reed at 504-427-2173. That's 504-427-2173. Free food, Captain Charles, entertainment. Y'all come out and support your boys. Support Legends Entertainment. Man.
You heard it from the one. Byron Bigelowville, man.
Yes,
CEO
sir.
Legend, man. Thank you. Jamin, thank you. Dwayne, God bless you guys for what you do. And the one, let me say this. Smooth. Yeah, and easy like a Sunday morning, but he keeps it realer than the real. This is OT with the Wake Up NOLA campaign team to end the violence in New Orleans. Let's support this campaign. It may be one of our best last chances to make the streets safer for everybody and everything we care about. But coming, man, back to the show for our monthly segment, Miss Jenga Muendo, the lady with the green thumb, green finger, and she got a green shirt on this morning after the break.